and go to 10-0. Safe to say they're heavy favorites, 10-point faves right now as they go on the road to face the team with the second worst record in football, the 1-8 Jacksonville Jaguars. So the Steelers, if they do beat the Jags, they'd be the 9th team since 2000 to start 10-0. But did you know just 4 of the previous 8 actually made it to the Super Bowl, and just one team, that was the 09 Saints, won it all after that 10-0 start? By the way, ESPN FPI, the Football Power Index, gives the Steelers an 86% chance to win in Jacksonville this week. That's it, 86%? Here's Big Ben.
Personally, we're not trying to, the goal isn't to go undefeated, right? The goal is to win a Super Bowl. And so we're just going 1 week at a time. We're not worried about anything other than this week. You look at past history of this game, and it has been pretty for us. We have yet to play a really good game against these guys. And so, I'm hungry to come out and get this game.
All right, this one's definitely a must-see as the defending champs try to avoid being swept. Yeah, KC, they're 8-1 with that only loss coming at the hands of the Las Vegas Raiders back in Week 5. Remember, it was at Arrowhead, and you may recall it was a 40-32 win by the Raiders. Afterwards, their team buses circled the stadium in what many called a victory lap, so only 4 more days until this rematch.
If you're not ready to go in this game, I'm playing a divisional opponent, playing against a good football team, it's going to mean a lot going towards the AFC West standings, then you're not in the right sport. So, for me, it's just as important as any other game in the division, no matter if they took the victory lap or not.
When you play the Chiefs, you're going to get one hell of an opponent in all 3 phases. And if you're not ready to go, you'll get your block knocked off. We know that.
I don't need anything added. I've had people say crazier things about me than driving a bus around the stadium, and you still just show up and play the game. You know what I mean? So if they want to get excited about it, awesome. They can get excited about it, man. I'm just going to keep doing my process and play football.
NFL analyst Marcus Spears with me live now on SportsCenter. Mahomes said it, Marcus. He called it a victory lap, right? Obviously providing some bulletin board material for the Raiders. Whatever it takes. But Marcus, what do you think? Will this be a lot different from the Week 5 game?
Sage, I wanted Carr to go off. All right, listen, I'm here for the beef. I wanted Derek Carr to go off. But anyway, to your question, listen, I don't expect it to go the same way. This Kansas City Chiefs defense was thrown on like no tomorrow. Aguilar over the top, Henry Ruggs over the top, Waller worked the middle. The explosive plays is why the Raiders won the game. Now, you say to yourself, Steve Spagnuolo, a large sample size, this defense for the Kansas City Chiefs has been playing better outside of the Carolina game, but that was some different varying circumstances. I don't expect the Raiders to beat the Chiefs, number one, and I don't expect the Chiefs defensively to give up the explosive plays that they gave up in the first meeting. And look, the only way you beat Kansas City, obviously, is putting up those type of numbers on the board. So the fact that Spagnuolo and this defense is going to defend against that, as opposed to trying to do something different or reinvent the wheel, tells me all I need to know about what this game is going to turn out to be. It's going to be a Patrick Mahomes one shining moment type situation.
Ooh, okay, you're calling it out then. All right, well, it is Chiefs-Raiders, one of 5 games between teams that are 6-3 or better. So we got to keep an eye on all of these. Starting with tomorrow's matchup, Cardinals and Seahawks. So, Marcus, what do you want to see from Russell Wilson and the Seahawks on another short week?
Well, it's crazy to say this, Sage, but the first thing that comes to mind, which we never talk about with Russell Wilson, is ball security, right? Yeah. He's hurt his team with turnovers. A bit of that has been pressure on him because the defense has been abysmal on the back end and feeling like he needs to do more than he probably needs to. And then the implementation of a run game. Look, the success that they were having with Carson, who may be playing, he's questionable, based on what Shefty told us today on NFL Live, that's a big loss for them. So there's some way they need to get Hyde and they need to get DJ Dallas in that backfield to produce more to help Russell Wilson not feel like it's all on his shoulders.
All right, on the other side, Kyler Murray, he's won his last 2 starts against Russell Wilson, including the Week 7 matchup, so just 4 weeks ago, and now he's even in the MVP conversation.
Yeah.
Another must-see game in Week 11. Marcus Spears, as always, thank you.
Coming up with 3 MAC football games in action, don't miss tonight's betting guide for the advice you need to know before kickoff. Our guy, so far, undefeated in the MAC, making picks. Also, on Drew Brees' injuries, confirmed that He has a collapsed lung and a total of 5 fractured ribs, according to Ed Werder. There's still no timetable on how long the Saints' 41-year-old quarterback will be out. When the Panthers take on the Lions Sunday, they're likely to be without Christian McCaffrey for a second straight game with a shoulder injury. The running back has played in just 3 games this season. He dealt with a high ankle sprain earlier in the season. Key loss for the Cardinals, who will be without nose tackle Corey Peters for the rest of the season. He suffered a knee injury Sunday against the Bills. Arizona takes on Seattle tomorrow night. And the Giants, who've won back-to-back games, are chasing the Eagles in the NFCs. They've got that momentum. They have fired offensive line coach Mark Colombo today. The firing of Colombo is just part of the story. And let's bring in Adam Schefter, who has much more on this story in New York. What more can you tell us about a move like this and why it's grabbing the headlines, Adam?
Well, Kevin, first of all, my phone is a little insulted that you praise Woj's phone as the busiest in the building, but we'll get past that.
on this night.
As for the New York Giants, Dave DeGamero, the offensive line coach that was appointed to replace Mark Colombo, really was coming in and helping last week. And don't think that sat too well with Mark Colombo, who exchanged some words with the head coach, Joe Judge, which ultimately led to his dismissal. You don't usually see an assistant coach replaced at this time of the year. But Joe Judge felt this was the right move to make, to work with an offensive line coach that he's worked with before in New England. Mark Colombo didn't like the way that it was arranged. He made his feelings very well known in front of other people. And like I said, I think that ultimately in the end led to his departure.
Okay, it is a verbal altercation. We heard one report at least about a physical confrontation.
That's not true.
Verbal altercation.
Correct.
Meanwhile, the update on Drew Brees, not good. Second opinion confirmed this. 5 fractured ribs and a collapsed lung. This is what coach Sean Payton said today about who will be the starting quarterback against the Falcons this weekend. Let's listen in.
Sean, can you share any updates on your plans at the quarterback position this week?
No updates, Mike. I'm eating my bagel. I was hoping to be chewing it when you asked that question.
For a long, suspenseful delay? Or
Just chewing the bagel.
No update on Drew's injury status either, specifically?
Nope, nothing specific, yeah. Nothing there.
What kind of bagel is it? Everything bagel, or is it like sesame seed? Or
It's a poppy seed steamed bagel, which are hard to find, actually.
With cream cheese?
Yep.
Excellent breakdown right there.
Yeah.
Adam, aside from the bagels, what are you hearing from New Orleans about who will be named the starter? Is it Jameis Winston or Taysom Hill?
Well, I prefer to critique Sean's bagel, but if we're going to talk about the quarterbacks right now, I would say number one, Kevin, you don't know how much time Drew Brees is going to miss right now. The doctors have not given him a timeline as to who's going to replace him. I know there's been a lot of speculation about Jameis Winston. Let's just see how this plays out. I always remember how much the Saints liked Taysom Hill, gave him a 2-year contract last year. I'm not ruling him out of this equation and situation just yet. People pointing to Jameis Winston. Let's just see here how this unfolds, and let's see how it develops. I think the Saints like both quarterbacks. I think there's a lot of support amongst the players for Jameis Winston, and I know how much the Saints like Taysom Hill, so I'm not ready to just appoint Jameis Winston as the surefire starter just yet, Kevin.
And why say anything now? It's Wednesday, middle of the week. We'll see how this plays out. You seem to be an everything bagel kind of guy with cream cheese. Am I right?
No, plain, because the poppy seeds get stuck in your teeth. So,
Exactly.
again, Sean Payton's got to be very careful about that.